Watch this. I take one YouTube link, 45 minutes long, and I paste it into a single prompt. 30 seconds later, I have every key argument from that video, the exact moment the speaker contradicts themselves, and a summary that would normally take me an hour to write by hand. No transcription app, no paid tool. Just a prompt written the right way. Here's why this actually works, and why most people who try this fail on their very first attempt. An AI model like this does not watch video. It does not see frames, it does not hear tone of voice, it has no idea what's happening on screen. What it can do is read extremely well. If you give it the words spoken in that video in text form, it can find patterns, contradictions, and structure in that text faster than any human ever could. So the entire game is not, how do I show a video to an AI? The entire game is, how do I turn that video into clean text? And how do I ask for exactly what I want once it's in front of the model? That second part is where 90% of people mess up. And I'm gonna fix that for you in the next few minutes. Before we go further, tap like on this video. Drop a comment with the word transcript so I know you're following along. And if you're not already, subscribe now. Because the method I show you at the middle of this video is the one thing that separates people who use this trick once and forget it from people who use it every single week to save hours of work. Let's start with the actual problem you're solving. You find a video. Maybe it's a long interview, maybe it's a technical talk, maybe it's a competitor's product walkthrough you want to study. You don't have time to watch the whole thing, but you need the substance of it. The naive move is pasting the YouTube link straight into your prompt and asking, summarize this video. Try it. Half the time, you'll get a vague, generic answer built from the title and description, not from what was actually said. That's the trap almost everyone falls into. The fix is simple in concept. Get the spoken words out of the video first, then hand those words to the model with clear instructions. Here's the first method, and it costs you nothing. Open the video on YouTube. Below the video, next to the description, there's a button that says Show Transcript. Click it. You'll get a scrolling list of timestamped lines, exactly what was said second by second. Select all of that text and copy it.
Now open your prompt. Paste the raw transcript first, then below it, write your actual instruction. Something specific, not summarize this. Instead, try extract the 5 strongest arguments made in this transcript. Quote the exact line that makes each argument and tell me which one is the weakest and why. Notice the difference. You're not asking for a summary, you're asking for analysis. A summary just compresses. Analysis makes the model actually think through the material, and that's where the real value is. That's method 1, completely free, works on almost any video with captions enabled. Method 2 is for when the built-in transcript is messy. Auto-generated captions sometimes merge sentences oddly, miss punctuation, or misspell names. For a cleaner version, there are free transcript extraction sites where you paste the video link and it returns formatted text with proper line breaks and timestamps kept intact. Search YouTube Transcript Extractor and you'll find several solid free ones. Pick any, copy the cleaned text, and use it the same way as method 1. The cleaner the input text, the sharper the output. This one detail quietly determines whether your result feels sloppy or feels like it was written by someone who actually understood the video. Now, here's the mistake that trips up almost everyone once they get this far. They copy a massive, hour-long transcript, dump the whole thing into one prompt, and expect a perfect breakdown. Sometimes it works. Often, the model starts losing detail from the middle of the video because you've handed it far too much raw material with no structure and no clear priority. The fix? Break long transcripts into chunks. If the video runs over 30 minutes, split the transcript into 2 or 3 parts, roughly by topic if you can tell where the subject shifts. Feed one chunk at a time, ask for key points from that chunk specifically, then combine the results yourself at the end, or ask the model to combine them once it has seen all the parts in the same conversation. Think of it like feeding someone a meal. One reasonable plate gets fully digested. The entire buffet at once just gets rushed through.
That single fix, chunking instead of dumping, is the difference between a shallow answer and one that actually captures nuance. Let's walk through a real example, start to finish, so you can see the whole process in one shot. Say you found a 40-minute talk about productivity systems, and you want to turn it into a short newsletter piece for your audience. Step 1, pull the transcript using the built-in button or an extractor site. Step 2, paste it into your prompt, followed by clear instructions. Something like, based on this transcript, identify the 3 most actionable techniques mentioned. For each one, give me a 2-sentence explanation in plain language and 1 example of how someone could apply it this week.
Step 3, read the output. If something feels generic, that means your instruction was still too broad. Tighten it. Ask for direct quotes tied to each technique, not paraphrases. Direct quotes force the model to stay anchored to what was actually said, instead of drifting toward generic advice it already knew before it ever saw your transcript. Step 4. Once you have the 3 techniques with quotes, ask for a final pass. Now write this as a 3-paragraph newsletter section, conversational tone, no corporate language, and open with the single most surprising point from the talk. 4 steps, maybe 6 minutes of actual work. Compare that to watching 40 minutes and taking notes by hand. That's the real value of this whole approach. You're not saving time by skipping the video, you're saving time by skipping the parts of the video that don't matter to what you actually need. Now, let's go one level deeper, because there's a technique most people never think to try. You can do this across multiple videos at once, not just one. If you're researching a topic, pull transcripts from 3 or 4 different videos covering the same subject from different creators. Paste all of them into the same conversation, clearly labeled as video A, video B, video C. Then ask something like, compare how these 3 sources explain the same concept. Where do they agree? Where do they contradict each other? Which explanation is the clearest for a beginner? This turns a pile of separate videos into one structured research document. It's the same core skill, transcript plus clear instruction, just applied at a wider scale. If you do this kind of research regularly, save your best performing prompts somewhere permanent, a saved project or a notes file, so you're not rebuilding the same instructions from scratch every time. That one habit alone will cut your setup time in half after the first week. Here's the golden tip, the one thing that will change how good your results are more than anything else I've said so far. Always tell the model what the output is for before you tell it what to extract. Compare these 2 instructions. First, summarize the key points of this transcript. Second, I'm writing a 5-minute video script for beginners who've never heard of this topic. Pull the key points from this transcript that a total beginner needs to understand and explain each one the way you'd explain it to a smart 12-year-old. Same transcript, completely different output quality. The second version gives the model a target, an audience, and a format, all in one line. Without that context, the model is guessing what you actually want. With it, every single sentence it writes is aimed at your real goal. This is the difference between people who use this trick casually and get mediocre results, and people who use it as an actual daily tool because it consistently gives them something they can use immediately, with almost no editing. I test new AI deals every week. If a new free method comes out, you'll see it here first. So here's what to do right now. Pick one video you've been meaning to watch but haven't had time for. Pull the transcript using the free built-in button I showed you. Write one specific instruction, tied to a real goal, not a vague summarize this. Run it. Compare that result to what you'd have gotten from just watching the title and description. You'll notice the difference immediately. And once you do, you won't go back to watching everything start to finish, just to find the 10 minutes that actually mattered. I'll see you in the next one.